we're going to move on to this one segment which I like to call Remember When. All right. So this is essentially a few key instances, a few key stuff that's been happening where all of us have just been like, seriously, people are doing this during COVID. So we'll start off with Miss Avril. So what we've noticed in recent trends is what has happened right now is that there's been a mass production of masks, right? It's because people are using it. Okay. So my question is, do you think the fashion industry, which is basically run by eons of people who established themselves as entrepreneurs and gone on forever, are exploiting the fact that we are in pandemic and need this right now?
Now, I don't think that's a priority. I really don't. But I'm not going to, kind of put them into a corner and say that, bad. I'm going to say we need to think.
Right. Thank you so much. Vanita, since you're also into fashion, blogging and sort, what do you think about this?
Definitely, the fashion industry does exploit a lot of us, but at the end of the day, it's what we want and what we think is right. They are there to make money. They're there for their business. I mean, one way or the other, they're working, we are working. So, it's just what they are doing. But at the end of the day, we should stop and think, do we really want it? Not every expensive thing is bad. Not every cheap thing is also bad. So that's where we need to actually sit down and think, if we could save that much money and get a similar product for a lesser rate, and especially during this pandemic where, a lot of jobs are being lost, a lot of people are unemployed at this point, I think we need to be a little more mindful about where we spend and how much we spend and for what we spend.
All right, thank you so much. Now for Vandita, remember we were going through this phase where it seemed like, we came out of a pandemic and you wake up one day and there's stories on Instagram, on Facebook, everything. And what are people doing? I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. We had stories of people going anywhere and everywhere. Go up, go no, just here. You wake up. My neighbor was here next one day. The next day she's not. Right? Everybody took trips. They were having a time of their life, mostly because lockdowns were lifted. Okay, but that did not mean that Corona also told goodbye to us. Now did it? But people indulged in it. Do you think this happened because our generation is so used to instant gratification?
A lot of clubs, a lot of pubs had opened up, a lot of parties happened. So that's where, I wouldn't say it was just the Generation Z, it was all of us. Like, it was all of us together. If I went, my parents did go with me as well. So that's what I mean. And what really happened was we were under the impression saying that, okay, so finally we stepped out of it from, seeing 1 lakh cases per day. Now we have around thousands. So in our head, it was, it's fine, it's okay, it's getting over. Maybe all of it is in control. And then at the same time, the vaccine was launched. So a lot of them were under the impression, saying that a vaccine can actually prevent you from getting COVID. But it just backfired. It did not happen. A lot of us just rushed into taking vacations because a whole year we sat at home. We are staying home, we are taking responsibility for everything, and we are actually, whatever we can do, we are actually trying and doing it.
So same question to Ms. Avril, what do you think about this, the whole instant gratification that people get from just doing stuff because we're not used to waiting it out?
I think the gratification has to do with escapism. You tend to want to escape from a particular situation in which you're in, and so you seek instant gratification. And so it's become, it's become like the normal way of being, not just for your generation, but even to a certain extent for our generation. Because, the stress of the situation that we are going through, we want to escape it. So I was thinking about this whole, escapism thing, because, I have neighbors also who are very young. And every time the lockdown was lifted, they would escape with their friends. A lot of people. And I would think to myself, nobody's really thinking about what happens after this. There's no real thought about, what are the repercussions of this. So I think we need to hold each other accountable going forward. If you can choose one accountable person who you can check on every day to make sure that they are safe, to make sure that they are, keeping others safe, and they will keep you accountable. So what are you doing here? You're building a chain. And so we're all links in this chain called humanity. And if we start taking responsibility by just interlocking with one person, then that person will do the same thing for another person, and we can spread this chain. And only when we spread awareness and we spread love and we spread common sense, only then we're going to be able to fight this pandemic.